are you? The Collector Store PT, Angel Cards. Thanks for joining. FA Inter J, welcome. Cruyff Cards, how are you? Nice name. Sick Ball FC, how are you? And Ricardo Gonçalves from Portugal. Kuma Bailey, Seatown Sablers. Thanks for joining, everyone. Let's give it just a minute or so before we get Matt Hendler from PSA. For those of you that don't know Matt, he's not just a PSA guy, but he's a great collector. He's got, tons of vintage stuff that are, will just blow your mind. You can follow him, obviously. You know his name on here is Handler Cards on Instagram, but he also is on Discord and Twitter. Welcome, Brasil Jogo Bonito. Boa noite. 71Bs 2004. How are you? And the Jock Sports Cards, Chorizo Cards, and R9 Soccer Cards, Vintage Soccer. Again, thanks for joining in. Let's get, without further ado, let's get Matt on here so that we can start this ASAP. How are you, Tommy? How are you, Andre from Soccer Study? Here we are. Matt, how are you?
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Hey, you too. For those of you that don't know, Matt is actually on a completely different time zone from us. You are still in Paris, right? I understand, Matt?
Yes, just got to Paris today.
Oh, wow. So I mentioned before I got you on here, Matt, for those of you, typically they know you as being employee of PSA, but I mentioned he's a lot more than that. The vast collection that you have, especially with vintage, is really mind-blowing. That's the word that I came up with. I know you don't have anything with you to show today, but I wanted to, first of all, so tell us, how are things with the European tour? I'm sure you got a lot to talk about with that.
No, I'm super blessed that I get to travel. Obviously, hasn't been the best timing on the travel, especially in Europe, but I started in Lisbon. I know you're not a Benfica fan, but got to see the amazing stadium there my first day in Portugal, and I really loved Lisbon. I was blown away, honestly. I had never been, so it was, I was only supposed to be there for 4 days, ended up getting stuck there for another 10, which, ended up being fine just because, since I kind of speak Portuguese, it was nice to be able to speak and practice and all of that. And, the accent in Portugal is way different than that in Brazil, so it was interesting to get to learn that dialect of it. But, I missed out, unfortunately, on going to Madrid and London. But I've been to London, so it is what it is. And I've been to Madrid as well. So at least I get to come to Paris where I've never been before.
Yeah, and you had time while in Portugal to witness my team beat your team, your Nuno team, Benfica. I told you shouldn't go with them. Just because you're an Arsenal fan and a fan of a red and white team, it doesn't mean you have to go with a Portuguese team of the same
and
colors.
The same sponsor. The jersey's almost the same. The Fly Emirates. You got.
Yeah, you're right.
It's close. So
yeah,
no,
for something different. FC Porto, twice I think we kind of dominated those two games, and but at least you did get to see the stadium, so that was good. And now your first day in Paris. We're going to keep this under an hour, not just because obviously I told the guys on here that you're on a different time zone completely, but we're also, I want to make sure that we save this for for future viewing for people, because a lot of people miss out on these things. So Matt, that was one of the questions I had for you, whether you actually speak Portuguese. So you do. How did that happen? How do you speak Portuguese? And does it have anything to do with the Brazil collection that you have? It has to, right?
Yeah. So back in college, I went to Syracuse University. I wanted to learn language, and I didn't, just for no good reason. I wanted to learn a language that wasn't, like super popular to learn and would have smaller classes. So I ended up choosing Portuguese. I really wish I had a great story, but that's just kind of how it went. And it was it was an amazing experience. I had an amazing professor. She was an older woman from Sao Paulo, and so like we were really close. She would cook us feijoada at her house, and it was a really good experience. And then I went to the World Cup in Brazil,
I saw
and
that.
that's when I really realized that I really enjoyed the country. I wanted to learn more about it. So I ended up studying there for 7 months in Sao Paulo.
Oh,
So I learned a lot then, and then I also am now dating a Brazilian. So we speak Portuguese sometimes, preferably English because my Portuguese still is could use some
mhm.
work.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, it's definitely a different accent. I mean, we claim to speak the real Portuguese, and then the Brazilian Portuguese is almost like they're singing. You know what I'm saying? It's a very
Yeah,
romantic type of an accent. There's no doubt about it. You did mention that you went to the World Cup 2014. I saw
yeah.
pictures, at least one picture of you with your dad
Hmm.
in one of the games. Is that when things started for you, as far as wanting to collect the Brazilian cards that you have? I mean, amassed so much of it, to, to
It's
what it is now.
I really wish I'd started collecting back then. I've always been a card collector since I was a kid. I like when I was a kid, I used to go to a local card shop and buy. I was really into baseball when I was younger, so I collected a lot of baseball, some basketball, and also football, American football. Um, and unfortunately, when I went to college, which was when I went to the World Cup, I just wasn't spending money on sports
Right.
cards.
There
So
are
I
other
took a
priorities,
break.
obviously, at that time, right? Other
Yes,
priorities.
exactly. So after I'd gone to college, I had taken that break, and then when I got back into cards, I didn't even know soccer had
Mm,
items because where I grew up in Kansas. Soccer was not
right.
a popular sport. We had an MLS team, but we couldn't even get 2,000 people to go to a game. So I didn't even know that things existed. So I actually one day, it was late 2018, early 2019. I'm a huge fan of Hector Bellerin because I don't know, he played for Arsenal, and I just really enjoyed him watching
The
him play.
Spanish right back, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And when I originally started collecting him, he was doing a lot better, and then he got injured, and then kind of went downhill from there. And now he's back. He's playing in Spain right now. Um, but that's when I started looking up his stuff. I was like, I wonder if he has soccer or like cards out there. And I picked up a bunch of his 2016 select autographs, and then that kind of like sparked a whole interest in it. And I was like, that's when I started bringing the. Well, I love Brazilian soccer. Like
Mm-hmm.
there has to be something from Brazil, and that's just kind of I started going down a rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden now I have way too many stickers and way too
Wow,
many
it's
cards. So,
amazing. Amazing collection. And let me ask you something. You mentioned 2016 Select. Was that the first time you actually purchased any type of packs or soccer boxes at that point? That was the 2016 Select?
yeah, I opened probably 10 boxes of 16 select because back when I opened it, it was like $40,
Mm-hmm.
$50. Like
Yeah.
no
Gee,
one was opening it. I opened up oh, what was the other one from 2016? It's Pulisic is in it, and I can't think of the name.
not Dunruss. Was it Dunruss?
No,
No.
it's a smaller one. I'm completely blanking
Mm,
on the name, but I opened up a
okay.
bunch of that product, and I started with modern. That's what got me into getting into soccer cards. Like I said, opened a lot of 16 select, like way too much. Um, and then that's when I started looking into like Brazilian legends, and eventually, found
Mm-hmm.
out about all these crazy stickers. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Before I forget, let me just remind people that obviously I posted out there. I'm going to be giving away, like I typically like to do, three stickers. Already you know this one, right? This Ronaldinho.
yep.
I'm going to give three because it kind of represents three different generations.
Hmm.
You have a Ronaldinho, an Eusebio, and also a Zidane. And this is all part of, I don't know if you saw just last week or this week. I opened up a box of the Paixão por Portugal. So these are three nice
Yeah.
stickers that I'm going to be giving away. People have to pay attention at the end. I'll ask one question regarding our conversation. They'll have to answer correctly. And again, I'll promise you we're going to keep this under 1 hour because it is what? It's 11:10 now in Paris. your time
It
there?
is, yeah.
11:10, so kind of late. So guys, please understand that. So all right, so you did mention 2016 Select was the first time you actually bought any soccer related packs or boxes, and,
Yep.
and because of the fact that you actually spoke a little Portuguese, you had been in Brazil for a few months, you figure, okay, the Brazilian players, I mean, I don't blame you. Great choice of getting. So
Yeah.
now you've accumulated a great collection. What would you say is, the player that you collect the most? Is it the Ronaldinho? Because I see that you like him probably more than the others, or?
Yeah, I would say I have one player from each generation that I collect the most. So Garincha is probably my favorite from, the
Oh,
World Cup winning team era, the 50s and 60s. Zico, uh, I'm a huge Zico collector. Like, I would say I probably have one of the best Zico collections. Peter, who's in this chat, his name is Brazil Jogo Bonito. He might, I don't know
yes.
what he has, but his
Hmm.
could be up there and might be better than mine, but I think mine is very, very solid. And then
Wow.
Ronaldinho is definitely my number one, and he's the reason being he's actually the one who got me into soccer in the first place. I remember like the first real big soccer memory I have is watching the 2006 World Cup and watching Brazil play, watching him play. And, obviously when you watch him in his prime, there's just nothing better. Like the way he played was just kind of how they talk about Gahincha, like just,
Joga bonito.
yeah, like
Always
just they
having
play
fun
for
at
the
the
love of the
field.
game, like play for the,
Hmm.
because, they're so talented and it's just natural and it's not forced at
Yeah.
all. So I really got into him. And so when I got back into collecting soccer, I knew I really wanted to focus on him. And when I found out about his, like when I first started buying his rookie stickers, I think there was like 5 graded maybe or something. So I was like,
Wow.
I really want to get a couple. And so I've just started accumulating, and I'm now trying to get the number one PSA set registry
Hmm.
master set. I probably have like 50 different slabs of him of different items.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
amazing. The one I sent you over, you didn't have before, right? You
I
mentioned
did not
you
know.
have, so
So
that's good. I'm
I,
happy
I
about
I'll
that.
be happy to submit that when the price is lower.
Listen, you mentioned Zico. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I think it's his father, or father or grandfather was Portuguese. There was a certain point in time that he wasn't really decided whether he was going to play for Brazil or
Really?
Portugal, but obviously, yeah, yeah. And he's a big sporting fan too. Your
Mm,
rival, so just that, great player Zico, and of
yeah,
course I've seen things like from Romario that I have Socrates,
yeah,
Roberto Carlos, and even Falcao, great players,
yeah.
which I remember well. The first World Cup I remember watching and actually following from beginning to end was actually in Spain, 1982. So I go way back then. I was 15 years old at the time. So that's good there. So listen, now when did the opportunity to go with to get a job with PSA come about? How did that happen?
Yeah. So earlier this year, I I was working in supply chain consulting, and it was not, it was a tough gig and something I, was not having the greatest time with. And I was doing really well at the time, selling duplicates of, some of the Pele's I had and some of the other Brazilian players. So I was going to take a break from work and just, sell some of those items and figure out what I wanted to do, figure out something that would make me happier. And I was eventually, connected with Nat Turner, who reached out to me
Oh, he
about,
reached out to you. That's amazing.
yeah, well, yeah, someone in this chat kind of
Got
connected
hooked
us
you
in
up.
that way. And
That's the networking. We all
yeah,
need that.
yeah. And, I had said to someone that I would love to work in the hobby and, make it a career and see how I could take it to the next level. And so, we got connected. I interviewed, and my boss, his name is Jamie Kiss Kiss. He actually built a lot of the Upper Deck Manchester United sets.
Remember
Um,
those? Was that from
he
2003
did the ones
or
from
four?
like '97.
Oh, even earlier than that. So that's
Yeah,
with the
like with
the
like
David
George
Beckham, right?
Best autographs, and
Hmm.
I think Bobby Charlton. I don't know if Bobby Charlton's in there. But so we started talking soccer, and we kind of created a soccer role as we saw a pretty large gap. So that's kind of how it came about. And, once I got the offer, of course, I just couldn't turn it down. It was, I've always enjoyed collecting PSA specifically. And, I definitely thought after talking to Nat that he was super committed
Good to hear.
to building, and he understood the soccer market is not it wasn't a temporary market, because at the time, stuff was blowing up, and the Ronaldo mega cracks had just sold for a crazy amount, and the Messi mega cracks. And, I had explained that I thought that was actually, low prices in the long run. So,
Mm-hmm.
he definitely understood, and he's still super, super supportive. Kevin Linane as well, the president now of PSA, he understands the
potential of
potential
soccer,
for the
right?
soccer market. Yeah. So, both of them have been super supportive with, new ideas and new changes that will be coming up in 2022.
That's good to hear. And then speaking of changes, you already got, I guess it's a promotion, right? Which is going to have you traveling across country. You're going to be going to California, or no? Did I
Oh,
misunderstand that?
so as of now, I go once a month. There is a good chance I'll be moving out there. Need to talk to Kevin and some other people about that, and see where we're at on that. So I would say there's a good chance I'll end up in Orange County, in 2022.
Got you. In the meantime, I mean, myself and I'm sure the rest of the soccer community, I mean, I feel like we're privileged to actually have you on board, not just being a PSA guy, but committing yourself to doing so much work. I mean, I've listed a few of the things that I know you've done, the ones that I know, but I'm sure you've done a lot more. You've contributed to writing articles. I love the one you did about what was the 7 great wonders of the world with all the great players. And of course, there's always going to be criticism because somebody's going to be left out from that list, and
Of course,
somebody doesn't look. But I think you did a great job. And that was what? That was the pre-modern, right? I think, or was it all time?
I did 2. I did a vintage and modern.
Vintage and modern. So now I'm probably going to get something like pre-modern, I'm sure, at the time. But that was, again, that was a great article, and that actually came out on what's the name of the magazine again? Was that a SMR or something?
It was called the SMR, but we just rebranded it to just be called the PSA magazine starting this January. So
I guess heard that. So that's something new. I appreciate that. One other thing you've worked a lot, and you mentioned set registries, and you're looking to be the #1 guy with Ronaldinho. You've contributed a lot with that also. I remember one of the recent ones that I saw on Discord that you were gonna, or somebody asked you to see if it's possible to do. Was it the German Hall of Fame players?
Yeah.
That somebody asked you to do. So things like that, you're going to be continuing to contribute, even though you might do other things with PSA.
100%. I have a ton of lists actually built. Like, I have a ton of ideas already out there. Just the harder part is actually, getting them set up in the system. But, we're hiring right now. I'm a brand manager for soccer in emerging markets, and we're hiring an associate brand manager. We've interviewed some really, really great candidates from the community. So hopefully we'll have a decision there soon. But, they'll be able to take those ideas and help me, get them into the system. Also, they're super knowledgeable about soccer as well, so they'll be able to give ideas. And I love the fact that people have been reaching out to me about like the German Hall of Fame, and someone reached out to me about the AC Milan, all-time players. I love that kind of stuff, and as much as I think I have a pretty good knowledge of soccer overall, I could always use, collectors who, collect AC Milan specifically. Like, they're obviously going to know a lot more about that than I will. Like, I think I'll know Brazil stuff pretty well, but if someone is collecting, Russian items, like, they're gonna know more than I am, 100%. So I love that people have been reaching out and asking for sets and asking for new players, and it's cool to see the different ways that people collect.
Yeah. And you mentioned that PSA continues to expand. I mean, there's some rumors. I mean, this is just me making it up, but there's some rumors that European Tour has got to do with something about that. The expansion to an European office. I'm just joking, obviously, but you could have been doing some CSI type of work and finding out possibly the good locations to have an office there. What can you tell us about that? I know it's kind of a rumor still, right? I mean, it hasn't been confirmed by
Mm.
PSA that they're definitely expanding there, but
You know,
potentially, right?
yeah, I would love to say that I could have expensed this trip to be a
I
search
was
mission.
joking. I was.
No, no, I trust me. If I could, I would tell Jamie I'm expensing it. No, but actually, we do have an office in Paris for PCGS, for the
Oh,
coin side. So,
okay.
but yeah. So I think Nat has officially said that we're opening a New Jersey office.
Right.
So that's 2022. A lot of people have seen that there's postings online for Tokyo,
Mm-hmm.
uh, grading positions. So obviously, put two and two together, there's going to be grading going on over there, which is amazing news to me because, there's a lot of amazing Japanese collectors, soccer collectors who own some of the rarest,
Yeah.
ultra modern Ronaldo, Messi's, Neymar's, craziest cards you'll ever see. But not to dodge the question, for Europe, I would say there's definitely a great possibility, after focusing on the other two that I've mentioned.
Okay.
Uh, I just, obviously it's above me and I can't
Right.
guarantee
No, we
anything.
understand that. And then obviously you wouldn't have a timeline either, but you did
No.
mention most likely the priorities right now are the New Jersey office and something else in Tokyo, right? More or less.
Yep, exactly. And, building out that capacity as
Hmm.
quickly as possible. Obviously, as we said, as our social media account posted, we really want to finish the backlog as quick as we can.
Right.
So, getting that capacity built out,
Hmm.
not just in Southern California, but also in New Jersey is going to be the best next step to make sure that we can get the prices lower again for people. But, obviously, talking every day to European collectors, I understand the desire and I understand, um, and it's not even just soccer. There's a huge TCG market.
Right.
There's a ton of Pokemon collectors in Europe. Um, what else? Cricket, other emerging markets is what we call them. F1, which has become a huge market. So it's not even just soccer. There's a lot of different things, that have built up, that I've seen built up in the last couple of years in Europe. That's super exciting. So I would say there's a great potential that, um, in the coming years, it definitely could happen.
It would make sense, obviously, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to go over, and just I don't know if it was a couple of days ago, PSA released, the New Year's top 5 resolutions, and
Yeah.
I specifically like a couple of them. One of them being the fact that they're going to be, I guess, starting already this year, actually taking images of all of the cards or stickers that they grade, regardless of the submission level that
Yeah.
is going to be sent. I mean, that's
Yeah,
great.
that's definitely the goal, and it's I've there's some amazing technology that's been built to get 40,000 cards a day image, which when you think about how much that is, it's insane. But yeah, we really want to make sure that people can put in a cert, make sure the item is the way it
Hmm.
looked when we slabbed it, make
Right.
sure that it's been tampered with. Quickly pull up images. When you're at a show and
Hmm. Yep.
you want to say, hey, maybe I want to upgrade my card. What does the one that I have look like? So there's a lot of amazing opportunities there, and by the end of 2022, we should be imaging every
Full
single card.
force. Yeah,
Yeah,
and again, it's regardless of the submission level, because obviously people think, oh, just because I'm going to be sending, Super Express or whatever, I'm going to get that. But no, even at some point when bulk and the economy opens up, that's the
yeah.
idea, right?
Yeah, and so the economy drop that we just did, where it was limited to CC members and you could get 5 slots, those will be imaged, even though that's 50 a card. So, as of right now, just the value submissions from 2021 um, aren't being imaged at the moment.
Right.
But the plan is for everything to eventually
Going
be, yeah,
forward.
yeah,
Great. One of the other things I liked was on those top 5 resolutions, the fact that they're going to continue to improve the quality. And as most people know, Collectors Universe, which is actually the parent company above all of these companies that they've purchased, including gold and auctions and so on, PSA, is the fact that, again, they're going to improve quality. And one of the companies that they purchased was Genamint, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, it uses artificial intelligence to help in the grading of all our submissions of the cards and stickers. You know, I for one think, I don't have any official word from PSA, but I think they must already be using it to some extent, because the grading seems to be a lot tougher right now at the, you know, at least with the major stars. I mean, what have you heard anything from PSA, even if unofficially, that you can disclose? Are they testing it out yet? This Genamint with the current grades, or further down the road?
There's a lot of things that have gone into to getting the system up and running. You know, different things to look out for. Obviously, there's a lot of different different technicalities that you have to worry about, and you know, stickers are obviously very different than cards, and you know, vintage versus a shiny ultra modern card. So there's definitely been a lot of how to put this, a lot of interaction between different departments internally to get the technology up, but
sort it out.
To sort it out, and it's definitely not full.
Yeah, so it takes time. You know, they want to do it right. I'm assuming so.
Exactly, and you know, with Kevin Linane as president now, you know, obviously him being the former founder of Genamint, you know, he's very focused on that, and it's his baby. First, yeah, literally, you know, it's what he what the reason, you know, he's at PSA. So it's up and coming, and you know, I'm gonna let the social media team definitely post more about that, because I think number 2 on our list. Number 1 was obviously get rid of the backlog, but I think number 2 was like, what did we say? It was like
improve quality. I think it was something like that.
Or it was like behind the curtain, peek behind the curtain. I think it was.
Oh yes.
So
you know, I forgot to actually put that down, but you're right.
Yeah. So you know, we have someone. I think he was hired in October. His name is Ryan Green. He runs our social media accounts. He's a super smart dude. And you know, what I really like about him is he and I agree that, you know, we want to get more behind the scenes, more stuff that people want to see, obviously. And so he's super focused on, you know, as you've seen maybe in the last couple of months, posting analytics of what we've been doing, posting just more openly about what we're doing. And I think 2022, there's going to be a lot even more in depth, more than we've ever had before in that sense. You know, so I'm going to let him talk more about that. And I think to go along with that, there's just going to be a lot more content as well. Like, you know, not just posting pictures, but, you know, a lot better just general content, you know, to
I actually have the word. I have the word, but I can't bring it out. Even in politics, it's used, but it'll come to me when I give you a little another minute to talk about that. But let me ask you something. Going back to some of the contributions that you've done in the recent past with PSA, one that I think is really great. You've helped in the finally relabeling some of those titles on some of those slabs, and that's, to me, that's great news, right? I mean, that's definitely going full force, right?
Yeah, it's, you know, to me it was just a matter of time for a lot of the changes, and a lot of them is what I would like to say is like ripping off the Band-Aid, where it, you know, some people aren't going to be happy. Like with the 7 Wonders, obviously every time you make a change, someone's not going to be happy. But overall, you know, for example, the labeling by season now, I think is going to be a great change. There's been, you know, so much flip-flopping, and it honestly just inconsistencies. You know, we labeled a lot of the time. We labeled the 91 Zidane, the foot 92 is 91, but we didn't do the Ronaldo a long time as 94, even though it's the same thing. So overall, this going forward, like, we're going to obviously retroactively change every set we've ever graded, but starting now for every, new Panini Foot album, it's going to be by
Hmm.
season. So,
That's great.
in 2 years, 5 years, there's not going to be a question of, you know, what year are we going to use? It's going to, like,
Right.
it's not going to be flip
It's going to be the
flopping.
standard.
Yes, it's just going to be
Mm.
one standard. Um, I think it's going to be a lot better just overall. It's going to make people feel more comfortable, purchasing different things or feeling better about what
Hmm.
they have,
Yeah.
knowing just where, like, what season it's just from at
Yeah.
all.
Avoid confusion because a lot of people, there's still a lot of people, new people coming into, to the soccer collective world, and they never know. It says 95 when it should be.
Yeah,
Didn't he start in 94 with PSV? I'm talking about Ronaldo, the phenom. So,
yeah,
that's definitely a big thing. But one thing I also forgot, and I apologize for that, is
yeah.
the fact that you've contributed a lot with doing a lot of legwork in trying to identify some of those sets that people out there have a card or a sticker of, especially
Mm.
even from Brazil, and they don't know where it comes from. So you've contributed a lot with that.
Yeah, I really love that. And once again, Peter, who's in the chat, has also helped a lot with that. He, has a lot of great information for Brazilian issues. But I honestly just love the researching, and like when you search for something for like weeks and you finally find like an album or find, some information, it's just a great feeling. So, we have a great research team, and I'll give them credit. A lot of them, none of them are soccer
Mhm.
collectors. So, they're thrown into, the soccer world, which is not as easy as, Topps baseball or, Panini Prism, where you can just go online and you have an easy
Right.
checklist. Finding a Koenig, with 17 different backs, and Sindelar
Hmm.
has, he's not in this back, but he's on this. Like, it's not like baseball where everything is so documented and there's a million books on T206s. Like, it's not the same for soccer at all. So, um, it's been a team effort, honestly, and I'm like I said, internally, there's been a lot of people behind the scenes who are also helping as well, and they want to once again like kind of rip the band-aid off and just get things fixed now, because they don't want, like, we just don't want to wait any longer and
Hmm.
let any of that stuff slip out. Obviously,
Hmm.
unfortunately, mistakes do happen when
Sure.
40,000 cards a day go out, which I think also on number 5 on the resolution was make less mistakes, and that
Hmm.
this would be part of that, which is less
Right.
labeling errors. I've seen some funny ones. Honestly, I think Al posted one where it was labeled 1950, but it was a Ronaldo car sticker. So obviously,
Wow.
you know,
I
he
missed
was
that.
definitely not playing in 1950. Wasn't even. I don't even know if his dad was born at that time. So,
Hmm.
um,
Oh,
so
interesting. I hadn't seen it. Was that on Discord maybe?
he
Hmm.
shared it with me, like it was a long
Oh,
time ago,
right.
but he might have. I don't know if he
Yeah.
posted on Discord, but unfortunately, like I said, those mistakes do happen. But we're trying to fix them as quickly as possible,
Sure.
uh, and if there are label errors, we'll gladly pay to get it shipped back and fix it. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah,
Great
it's
customer
been
service
great.
with that. I mean, you guys do it the right way. Um, I mean, the fact that you're actually in the community, obviously you're on Discord, you're on Instagram. I know you're on Twitter also, because the other day somebody actually came onto Discord with a picture of a Ronaldo
Yeah,
that happened to be yours, which you had put on Twitter. And he came over to Discord, asked, "Hey, anyone ever seen this?" So it turns out that this is a. I mean, I had never seen that sticker or card before. But it's great that you're actually involved, because I'm sure you're able to relay perhaps some of the suggestions that you hear from ourselves.
yeah,
One of the things I've always wondered, and I think Al Jargella has mentioned also, it would be great if PSA starts actually dating when a particular card
mhm,
got graded.
yeah,
We know that Becca does that. I
yeah.
mean, I think that would help, since PSA will definitely start implementing a picture of the card. Why not also putting
Mm.
the actual date when it was graded? I think that would be helpful for everybody. You do go back to PSA and give them some of these suggestions, I'm thinking, Matt?
Yeah, of course. In 2022, there's a good chance I'm going to be more on the product side uh, of the company, and stuff like that. Obviously, I like that idea. I enjoy I don't I don't love the Beckett site, but that is one of the better parts is the dates, getting to
Yeah.
see when it was graded. Obviously it's not a perfect solution. Try to look at the cert and trying to like figure out,
Right.
5,300 is blah blah blah. But no, I think we really want, once again, with the peek behind the curtain is also that kind of goes along with that, with just getting more information out there. And before the question gets asked, I don't see subgrades ever being a thing. Uh,
I had that on my list. I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
would be great though, but I can
No,
understand PSA
and
sticking with
for
their
sure.
template, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's, to me, it's a template that's worked really well, and I understand.
Hmm.
Obviously, being a collector, I have some BGS cards. I have a CGC, I think it is, card. I understand. To me, I love the look of the simplicity of the no subgrades. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Uh, and so, actually, this is a great comment. So, Maze Mantle, who just commented, I like the idea of
Hmm.
showing the date graded. He is Ryan Hoge, who is the chief product officer at PSA.
Oh,
So,
wow. Welcome
I
aboard.
can't make the decision about putting a date, but if
Hey,
someone can, he
he likes
can.
the idea though, you know?
He does. And so I'm glad he said that, because I didn't want to say anything I can't.
Right.
And
No,
I
of
actually
course.
really like it. So I'll talk to him about that when I'm back in office. But, stuff like that, like, I take a lot of these suggestions back. And that's what got me the season labeling for the flips. That was just from me, being involved in the community and
Hmm.
reading what people were saying. And I see the arguments people have every single day, and
Hmm.
half the time I'm part of them. Um, so no, 100% seeing what people say, I take a lot of that stuff, and
Hmm.
I brought that one directly to, Kevin Linane was the one who approved that change. So, 100%. The stuff I see, like, I love those suggestions. Obviously,
Hmm.
unfortunately, not all of them are feasible.
Of course. Hmm.
But, I love at least hearing them. And, like you just said, Ryan Hoge is in here, and he's someone who can, officially make that change.
That's great.
And Al is right. He said it should be an easy thing to do. You already have the
Yeah.
data, of course. No, and like I said, we bought Cart Ladder,
Hmm.
and something I think that goes along with that is getting more data about your cards, getting more information. To me, that goes along with that is just having more better pop data, better website in the future.
Hmm.
I think our website is great as is, but I think obviously there's a lot of improvements that could be made.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you knew there were going to be some funny comments. Obviously,
Oh,
Hershey's
of course.
Carts is coming along and say ultraviolet resistant slabs. He's joking. He's
Yes.
joking. But I don't want to forget what Al started off this saying, that actually it looks like in Paris there are no razors over there. You're growing a nice beard
Al,
there, huh?
the thing is, no matter how my beard looks, Al has to make a comment. I think he's
Make a
just
comment.
jealous. I think he's jealous that I still have all my hair.
And the beard that he's able to grow has got a lot of whites too. So
Exactly,
that shows his
exactly.
age.
So
Listen, there
he's
was a comment here. There was a
yeah,
comment here
he's
also from Brad Nolan. He mentions that Matt, you've done more for soccer grading in 6 months than PSA has done in 6 years, and to keep up the progress and good work. So that for sure, that's I share that with his name again was
no,
Brad.
I yeah, Brad's a great guy. I've watched his collection grow in the last year a crazy amount, and he bought like a junior sticker from Brazil the other day, and I was like, I don't know a single other person that has bought a junior sticker uh ever. So, anyway, I'm happy to see that Brad's in here and listening. But
Yeah.
and I do appreciate that, but I do want to say that there's a lot of people internally that have tried really hard in the past with soccer. It's just, you know, not being involved, in the Discord, in
Hmm.
on the
That's
soccer
important. Yep.
on soccer Instagram, soccer Twitter. A lot of that knowledge, unfortunately, like I said, like with baseball, the knowledge is so ingrained in the hobby. Like everyone knows every back of the
Hmm.
T206s, but soccer, I mean,
Hmm.
there's just like the information, like every single day I learned something new. Like I saw people talking about some of the Grieslings today, the Sindelar Grieslings from 1926. And it's like I literally learned something new every single day. So, you
Wow.
know, a lot of the times, a lot of these things that come in, it's the first time they've ever been seen at the moment. So, like I said, no like I'm not trying to say that any mistake is a good mistake, but
Hmm.
sometimes they do happen, and I think learning from those and improving. Internally in 2022, something I'm going to be a big part of is sharing that knowledge internally. So,
Hmm.
every time I get information about a 1926 set, I'm going to write it down. It's
Sure.
going to be shared with everyone. Uh, if they look up, you know, that set, if it's a grader, if it's a researcher, if it's I don't know, anyone, like
Right.
they can look up that set and be like, oh, Matt said, these are always miscut, or these are hand cut, or these are, these always have a mark above the shoulder or something.
Right. Well,
So,
that's important details.
exactly. And it's stuff that it's only known by being written down and passed along. Like a
Hmm.
lot of it is just such tribal knowledge, which makes sense because for a long time, like there was such a siloed style of collecting. Like Portuguese collectors, they collected their Portugal players, and English collectors collected their vintage English. And but now it's like obviously the world is super global, so people are all collecting
Hmm.
these things from different countries and learning new stuff. New stuff from Brazil is coming out all the time. Like
Yeah.
Peter, like I've referenced a couple times. I don't know if he's still in here, but there's stuff. Brazil is a massive country, and there's still new sets coming out all the time. And I do want to say I saw Ryan, who's Maze Mantle on Instagram, commented. He is starting to collect soccer, which is amazing.
Oh wow.
He has a Maradona PSA 378 crack, which is I don't even have a crack yet. Um, he has some amazing DeStefano. He has an amazing Zidane as well. So anyway,
Nice.
just want to say I love it. Getting like I said,
Hmm.
between him, Kevin, Nat, there's been so many people um, on the sea level who are really showing
Hmm.
a lot of respect to soccer, which I honestly don't think it got in the past. It's
Right.
kind of just on the wayside. So
Hmm.
yeah, and like
Yeah, let
people
me just,
said,
sorry to cut you short, Matt.
yeah,
I want to make sure I actually bring up some of the comments or questions that some
mm,
people are posting. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this. This probably something that you won't be able to, but do you know when PSA will be cheap again, like $15? I think those days are over, but potentially are we looking $30 to maybe $50, bulk
so I would
quantity?
say that question, to be very political, is way above my pay
Right.
grade. But you know, what I really like, I know I've referenced this a few times, but Nat and Kevin and Ryan, the three of them um, are set registry users, and one of the bases of the set registry is the fact that you grade, common cards, you grade
Right.
$5
Good
cards.
point.
So they 100% want to get down to that again, where someone
Mm-hmm.
could submit a whole set where you might only have 5 stars and the rest aren't stars. So I can't say we have said that value. We will have lower prices coming out, hopefully starting mid 2022. Can't guarantee anything, but you know we do want to get the prices lower for collectors. Like we are all of the three. The three of them plus me plus a lot, like so many people internally, we're all collectors, so we understand
But
how it is. And obviously we don't wish we were in the situation we are in with that, but with just how supply and demand works, it's just going to take time, but hopefully eventually it'll be back down to that level.
did you see that comment? And that's actually something I had written down here, ready to ask you. PSA will have values-based services available in the first half of 2022. So I'm gathering that means potentially bulk and economy when I hear value-based services.
So that's what I would assume as
Mm,
well, would be
wow,
obviously
great.
starting economy, and because we did have the economy drops, and there are going to be more drops, economy drops. I don't know when. I cannot promise what days or
Right.
anything, but um we do want to get people to allow people to you know submit at better price points and not feel like we're gouging in any way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like we said, we want to dedicate at least 80% of our capacity to the backlog.
Yep.
So, you know, we've
And there's a follow-up comment. I don't know if you can see that, Matt. Yeah, but I'm seeing that they will utilize our queuing technology to control inflow so we don't get overwhelmed. That goes, you know, with you were mentioning, the backlog is still the number one priority at this point, obviously.
yeah, sorry, who commented that? I can't see.
Maze Mantle, which I guess you mentioned, it's
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. For some reason, my like the comment section is acting weird for me. But yeah,
oh,
so the queuing system, you know, one we did a survey. I think a lot of people got here, you know, about like what prices would you submit at and stuff like that. And you know, there's been a lot of analytics and math done. You know, this wasn't a random. You know, we're not
yeah, just
randomly
yeah,
you know coming up with stuff, so it's all been calculated to make sure that we don't end up you know in the same situation we were in. So it's all going to get better. It's just obviously dependent on getting the backlog uh cut down is
hmm
back to zero essentially. So you know the queuing system, I thought, you know, obviously there was a few little technical errors, but overall, you know, once things got ironed out, I got my 5 cards. I'm super happy because, you know, I'm going to submit 5 cards. Uh, but yeah, so there's going to be better stuff coming in 2022.
hmm
I just can't promise any prices or when it's going to
No, of
happen.
course, I figure that. One thing I wanted to go over with you, and I mentioned to you that you know, for those of you that want to follow gem rate, I don't know if people know gem rate. It actually keeps tabs, actually on a daily basis, of the number of cards that PSA grades from all the sports, including soccer. All I was concerned about was getting some of the soccer numbers. And let me just run some of the numbers by you, starting
Yeah.
from March of 2021. There were 14,700 soccer cards graded in March, and that's when we
Mhm.
were seeing the spike of. I mean, it
Yeah.
was things were the prices were just going crazy, and it went all the way up to double that amount in a matter of 3 months. In
Mhm.
June 2021, there were 28,700 soccer cards graded by PSA. I
Yeah.
mean, this is expected. Obviously, now it just went down a little bit in the last 3 months of the year, 2021. But these are numbers that, for sure, PSA never saw before, right?
Not at all. And you know, I was speaking with Nat when he was writing his editorial on soccer for the SMR. I think it was October that it was out. Um, but you know, from I'm trying to remember the numbers, but
Mm-hmm.
we essentially doubled the population within like 6 months of soccer cards that we've graded, um, which is just obviously you know insane to think about and shows you know the crazy growth that has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been huge growth
Crazy.
and just consistent. You know, we're seeing you know as of now, soccer. If the pace stays up, soccer will eclipse hockey
Oh yeah, for
at
sure.
some point. You
Mm-hmm.
know, as of now, we're grading I think 2.5 times as many soccer cards as hockey cards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So, you know, that would put soccer as the fourth biggest sport behind football. Um,
Baseball
so
and
baseball,
basketball.
football, and yeah, baseball and basketball. Baseball being number one by a
Mm-hmm.
long shot. Uh, but you know, it really shows the crazy growth, and you know, soccer's always been included in like the miscellaneous sports
Yeah.
category, but
Yeah.
at this point, it's really shown it's its own category. You know, it got its own category on the population report. On eventually it'll be on the set registry. Uh, you know, a lot of different areas. We actually got pricing for the SMR with soccer. We had zero soccer SMR
Mm-hmm.
prices up until a couple months ago, uh, but that just kind of shows that we definitely view it as a major category. And obviously, I'm
Sure.
super passionate about it. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
just based on the sheer amount of collectors
Mm-hmm.
worldwide
Yeah.
for soccer items. It's it's just a matter of time
It's great.
before it eclipses hockey and easily
Yeah.
becomes number four.
Hey, Matt, it's a good thing that the Blake 58 makes this comment, but this he's actually mentioning something on here that you've already started to do your own contribution to Card Ladder, the new purchase from Collectors Universe.
Yeah.
You've already added a lot of cards, I know, to get some prices, especially from the most important in the hobby. But I mean, is this something that you'd be able to answer or not? Do you know if PSA is actually utilizing Card Ladder in order to get some of those up charges that we consistently see on some of the submissions, or not? You don't know, right?
I honestly have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why my comment section stopped, but
Oh,
I
sorry
don't
about
know.
that.
No, not your fault at all. I don't know why it did, but no, we don't. I don't know. Like, I'm
Right.
not going to say for sure. But I have been speaking
But it would
with.
make sense though, right? I mean, you have the technology now. You have the car ladder. That's actually a good point. Why not use car ladder to get some of these up charges
Yeah, if Ryan is still in
as a
here,
guide?
he would know a lot better
Mhm.
about that. But
Yeah, I haven't
um,
seen him comment on that, but
but that, I mean, it would go hand in hand and save time, obviously. But in terms of other, to go back on it, one of the first day that we bought Card Ladder, I commented on it, and Christina from Card Ladder actually reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I want like, I see you're the soccer guy." And she wanted, like, immediately to start adding a lot more soccer items to Card Ladder. So I wrote her up a list, and so I thought that was super exciting. I think it's
yeah,
super cool because I love seeing the data, or like seeing the posts where they say, this Jordan's at an all-time high, like a new sale, and seeing a graph. So you know, getting new stuff for soccer like that we haven't really had analytics like that for
yeah.
soccer. So
Well, yeah, I had heard about car ladder, but I never really interested because all I collect is soccer. But now I have a reason to actually, which I already did, download the app and start browsing it. So,
yeah,
you know,
it's I really want to add as much as I possibly can. Obviously, if it's a card where it sells once a year, you're not going to have a great graph, but making sure that we have all the pre-modern legends, all of the modern, all the major Messi cards, Ronaldo cards, Neymar, Lewandowski, all those players.
sure.
Um, so there's been a lot of additions to make sure that we're not missing any obvious. I don't think there was any Maradona items on there, so I've
Hmm.
asked them to add some. I want. I just.
Cruyff,
There was
Cruyff,
that. I think there was the. I think the Palarex might have been. I
uh-huh.
can't remember for sure, but
Right.
yeah, more Cruyff. The major, like, it would be like like no Babe Ruth on
Mm-hmm.
the baseball. Like, that's like what it's like having some of these players missing. So
Sure.
um, there's a lot of positive changes, and like I said, Christina
Mm-hmm.
reached out to me directly, and they really
Right.
want to get soccer added on there. So
It seems like it's going to continue to be a very busy year for you in 2022. And as promised, we're about to finish this in a few. We're almost an hour into this, but I wanted to remind, and I'm going to be asking people in a few minutes a question, which whoever gives the first correct answer to it will get these three, I'm sorry, Paixão por Portugal stickers of Zidane, Eusebio, and Ronaldinho. Listen, before we go, Matt, can you just mention? I know you're on Discord with the soccer study, Andre's channel, also the vintage. Are there any other good soccer or football channels that people are missing out on Discord, including me? That's the only two I visit right now.
no, I mean, unfortunately, I've always been in the vintage Discord. I just happened to join the soccer study because someone mentioned that someone was asking about the sticker I tweeted about. Uh, I originally started. I originally started in the Sports Card Investor Discord talking soccer, like 2019, with Hershey, who's on here. There was like five of us, and we talked about soccer, and everyone thought we were crazy. But I don't go to that channel anymore. I kind of avoid it, actually, like the plague. But
Right.
it's those are the I really love the vintage Discord, and I think there's a lot of amazing knowledge. And you know I think out of all the sports I've collected, you know soccer collectors are the most willing to help each other. Because there's just so much crazy. Like I've said a couple times, it's just like there's just the lack of knowledge out there. You honestly just need other people who have seen things before or have, you know, ran into them, or have them themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a great like place to utilize so much knowledge. Like you said, Twitter. I've just recently, you know, really been using Twitter a lot. It's not it's not too much about uh,
Soccer.
soccer, and I would say vintage, not much at all.
Oh.
But there's some soccer. There's more a lot of modern soccer. But and Instagram, I do enjoy. I think Instagram is a great place. But overall, I think the Discord, the vintage Discord, is the best place for like daily, consistent, you know, educational conversation where, you know, you can ask questions and, you know, get quick answers. So
And, to me, it's a great exchange of knowledge over there, no doubt about it. I'm
yeah,
learning something new every day, obviously, and a lot of new people coming in also, so which is great to see. Right.
yeah,
Listen, Matt, I'm going to ask the one question then that I promised everyone to, you know,
yeah,
and whoever gets it right will get these 3 Paixão por Portugal stickers. Like I promised, it was under 1 hour. I hope you continue to have a good European tour over there and come back safely. So anyway, the question that I need answered for this prize is very easy. If you were with us from the beginning, what college did Matt Hendler attend here in the U.S.? Right. See, I didn't know about that until our chat. So it had to be
there you
somebody
go.
that had to be with us from the beginning. And I know
Yeah,
you still can't see the comments, right?
I
Raul?
can. So
You can't see it. Let me see if I mean it's
that's
an easy one.
I'll be
You
interested
only
to
said
see
it
it.
once, right? But
I only
maybe
said it
oh,
once.
there
So
you go. We got R9. Well, he misspelled it, but I'm going to give it to him. R9 soccer cards. He said Syracuse, but he meant Syracuse, so I'm
yeah,
going to give that. R9 soccer cards, congratulations on these 3 stickers. After this, I will go ahead and contact you and exchange information on how to send it to you. Matt, I appreciate you talk with us. We'll do it again
yeah,
soon, maybe
yeah,
in 3 months or so when PSA has new things to tell us about, and obviously you're going to be the spokesman for, at least for us.
yeah,
Appreciate it. Stay
yeah.
safe. All
Yeah,
right.
it was amazing getting to come on. Like I would love to come on again once we've you know, made some updates and, you know, maybe if I have some cool news I can share, you know, would love to share it on this talk. So it was great getting to talk to you.
You too. Vintage soccer figurine saying University of Hard Knocks. He was wrong. Matt, thanks again.
Almost.
Appreciate it. Stay safe.
Yeah.
And when you come back, a good and safe flight back to the U.S. for you and your girlfriend, all right? Take care now. Nice
Ate
chat.
logo.
Talk to you soon.
Ciao.
All right. Take care now. I was going to say arrivederci, but no, arrivederci is actually au revoir in French. Guys, thanks very much. And stay safe. Happy New Year to all. And we'll talk again soon. I appreciate the time they took in watching this live with Matt Hendler for PSA. All right, guys. Have a good night. Take care now. Thank you.